Hey guys, what's good? Welcome to Order of Opinion. I'm your host Tim. This is my co-host Anthony.
What's good, guys?
For those of you returning or just tuning in, we are going over our ranking of the movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe from the shittiest to the greatest. Order of Opinion. Okay, so for number 6, I have Iron Man 2 with a 7.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Liked it that much, eh?
I mean, it's great. It has some of the best dialogue of any of the Marvel movies.
Well, I think that was the difference, too, between this movie and Iron Man 1, was Iron Man 1 was just sort of bickering and, like, banter.
One-liners.
And Iron Man 2 was funny, and it actually was very edgy. How many sex jokes did fucking Tony Stark say?
Yeah.
Like, the one where he was like, yeah, Hammer needs a slot to the reporter, or whatever, some shit
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Needs a slot to fill. Like, and the one where he's literally calls Congress ass clowns.
He does,
and
then
then turns around and says this whole monologue, and then he ends it with, just wanted to let America know I like to pleasure myself.
Yeah, and then the dude goes, go fuck yourself. Like, even though they bleep it out, but still, that's might be the closest they've ever gotten to actually playing the F word in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, and it still keeps the humor, but the dialogue is actually meaningful to what I think is a non-action. It's a very minimal action movie. That's a character-driven story that's really well done. Like, this is, to me, the best, most complete Tony as far as him going through something and resolving it.
Well, even though what he's going through is him dying and feeling good about himself as Iron Man, like sort of just stroking off his own ego, and then he realizes he's a genius and then is survived, and he's still stroking off his own ego.
Yeah. Well, either way, he's stroking off his ego. Yeah. And either way, he still cowards at some points.
Yeah.
Because think about it, because obviously he learned some things from Terrence Howard and Hustle and Flow, and he's a pimp. And his main bitch, Pepper, who, like I said, to me, I don't see the romance, dude. I don't really see it. To me, I literally see a pimp main bitch relationship. He treats her like shit, kind of talks to her like an asshole. He just basically bosses her around all day. And then all of us, like, he realizes, yo, she's, like, loyal enough to where I can make this bitch CEO so I can be Iron Man.
Well, and much like...
I'm not worried about the business. I'm worried about being Iron Man. Because right now, I'm loving the shit out of being a hero. And, of course, Iron Man, he's sort of fake. With his bravado is like he thinks he's privatized protection. World protection.
Well, yeah, and much like a true bottom bitch, she runs his business. And that so that he can focus on being as flashy and as loud as possible, like a true, 70s, 80s pimp.
Yeah.
Like, he rolls around in the shades. He's wearing
the
metal...
purple shades, the red shades.
He's wearing a metal suit that can fly.
He just gives rollies to Mexicans that sell strawberries on the side of the road.
And he eats one strawberry. He trades... What you have to imagine is, like tens of thousands of dollars watch to eat one strawberry and get yelled at by his lady.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I remember that.
Well, that wasn't. I don't. Was she his lady at that point?
Yeah, because I think
were they together until the end?
Yeah, right? I mean, they're supposed to be, but he's in his own world.
And that's what's funny to me, right? Is like, we'll talk about Ivan, but there's this theme here of legacy, right? And Tony's more worried about, because he doesn't work with weapons anymore. He works with energy, so he thinks he's better than his dad. He thinks that he and only him is worthy of protecting people because he has the Iron Man suit and he's made endless, or I don't know, is it endless energy? Is it?
Well,
I don't know.
It's not truly endless because it burns up a core.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
he uses it for himself primarily.
Well,
it's not like...
And it's funny you mentioned that because his dad, he thinks he's better than his dad because he's not doing weapons, but his dad invented the element that has endless energy.
Yeah.
Like, that was his dad's actual life work.
Yeah.
So even though Tony feels superior to his dad was just, playing with the times. He was actually doing the exact same thing. And
his dad was such a genius that he realized, yo, I can make this happen, but I have to do it through my son in the future because I don't have the technology to pull this off.
Well, yeah, and that's why...
And that's funny, too, with Howard Stark. Kind of shows why he's an asshole. Because it's like, the way supposedly that Tony's handling his dad, what he went through with his dad growing up, and them justifying it through Howard basically saying, well, son, I treated you that way your whole life because I know one day you'll see this video and it'll make up for all that shit, telling you that you actually mean something to me and you can figure this out because I don't have the technology to do it.
Well, yeah, and
he creates a fucking element.
Shit. He treats him like shit, but then it comes down to, was that really like the good thing to do? Because you want to give the world endless energy, and you even see it later on. Stark doesn't even use it to make endless energy. He uses it to power his own fucking heart. So in reality, he just made the energy, much like what would happen in the real world, to power a rich man's heart so that he doesn't die prematurely. Not to fucking power the world. He doesn't ever bother to make it again.
Well, that was the Stark Expo, right? I thought that was powered from...
Well, yeah, but it was a military expo, essentially.
Talk about how braggadocious is that? I'm going to have an expo for a whole fucking year.
Yeah, a whole year. And then, dude, I didn't even realize this the first couple times I watched it, and the most recent time I watched it, this fool flies in and then just starts spinning around on a platform as people are dancing. Like, what a ridiculous intro. Yeah. Like, for a CEO of a company.
Yeah, and he does all these, like, cliche things, like throwing peace signs and American flags. And he's a jackass.
All he does is talk about himself. He's like, I've privatized world peace ever since I've been around. This is the longest period of peace, even though they don't show him ever going and doing anything.
Yeah.
Except for killing a fat old guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much the last thing you see Tony do. So I guess Obadiah was the reason there was war, is what he's saying.
And that's what I'm saying. This whole movie was the most self-absorbed movie I've ever seen.
Well, but
it's literally the most self-absorbed. Sides. Yeah. And my biggest problem with it was, to me, which could have been potentially a great part of the movie, is Ivan. Yeah, to me, as a villain, it's like he had so much potential. He was great hand-to-hand. Yeah, but he has only 2 scenes hand-to-hand, and one they don't even show what he did. It's the aftermath of what he did.
Yeah, he snaps a dude's neck, and then he hangs 2 guys. That's right. I mean, he sort of does hand-to-hand in the suit against Tony.
Yeah,
at the
end.
That
was okay.
Yeah, but that was rushed.
Actually, to me, that whole action scene where he flipped cars and Happy, which is the most unrealistic thing I've ever seen in my life, drives into the racetrack to risk him and Pepper's life to get Iron Man the Iron Man suit, because apparently Monaco doesn't have any police that will show up until Iron Man and Mickey Rourke have to have their one-on-one fight.
Oh, God, and how terrible was that fight? Like, Iron Man literally won by... like allowing the chain to go around him, and he did this weird like dancing fucking way of getting the rope around him and then just ripped the shit out the center. Like that was it. That was so unsatisfying for a fight.
Yeah.
And even and what was weird is it looked cool not even looked cool because it sort of looked like shit. Like the CGI in that scene, but the actual action looked cool up until it just ends abruptly. And it's the same thing with the last scene with Ivan.
That's to me with all of it. It didn't feel cohesive with his part and Tony. And the only thing that was cohesive, which I sort of liked, was the legacy theme with them, right? Howard, but the way they did it was stupid. Like, because Howard Stark and Ivan's dad get explained through exposition with Nick Fury. Yeah. Why couldn't you, while Nick Fury's explaining it, show what happens, why Howard Stark got Ivan's dad deported? And it's sort of funny, right? Because that's the legacy. Ivan's sort of a scumbag. His dad is an alcoholic and dies because he's an alcoholic.
Well, think about it.
Of course, Ivan's an alcoholic.
To speak on that, the last thing the dad does before he dies is drink alcohol.
That's what I'm saying. And then what does Mickey Rourke do when his dad dies?
He drinks alcohol. Up.
And the connection between them, there are 2 scientists that Ivan's dad and Tony's dad are scientists that figured out this energy shit that could essentially make nuclear energy look like pussy shit, right? And Ivan's dad is trying to sell it. Tony's dad you would argue, wants the right thing. He wants it in the government and the military's hands.
Yeah.
So he gets him deported, and essentially his dad becomes an alcoholic and depressed and reverts to alcohol. But Tony, before this movie in Iron Man 1, was basically an alcoholic. What happens to him when he can't deal with the pressure of being a hero.
Well, he goes
self-destructs.
Yeah,
and he drinks alcohol.
Well, and Ivan too. Like he's so much of an alcoholic, he feeds his bird alcohol. And he's literally...
And the pimp cup.
Yeah.
The parrot pimp cup.
No, and I would agree with you. It is a lot to do with the fact that these two dads, both of how they acted is being mirrored back, because Ivan, he turned to crime because his dad essentially turned to crime doing this backyard, like, pirate,
and he blames Stark for doing this to his dad.
And Tony...
Because he got him deported.
Yeah. And Tony, he's doing the exact same thing. He's turning into his dad by being cold and calculated and shutting out the people in his life, essentially, because that's what he's doing when he dies in self-destruct. He's shutting everyone out.
Well, he thinks he's better than his dad, but really 50 years ago, your dad was smarter than you, dude. Because he figured out endless energy, motherfucker.
And he found a way that only if Tony had a way to, like, scan it, he would be able to actually figure it out.
That's true.
Like, he made such a good puzzle that you needed fucking magic. Like, because that's what Tony used to figure out that element, is a little bit of magic, because he literally rips a whatever hologram apart and turns it into an element. I couldn't explain that to you in the least.
Well, and, you know, obviously, he's dying from what he made in his chest, or for his chest, he's dying.
Yeah, right? And why is it in this one that it's burning out so fast and not the other one?
Can explain it. What's funny, too, is, like, you brought this up to me when we were watching it, is Jarvis says that him wearing the Iron Man suit intensifies the toxicity. And this motherfucker, when he realizes he's going to die anyways, self-destructively, he wears the Iron Man suit to fucking DJ and dance around.
Yeah, he does
and then
he
doesn't
even do the robot. He doesn't even do the robot as Iron Man. That's what pissed me off. He uses it to fly around, to jump in front of cheerleaders. He uses it to just kick it at the donut shop. He's just kicking it in the Iron Man suit.
Because he's giving up. Yeah. Because Tony's a coward. He gives up on his life.
He does. And he even gives up on Iron Man at a point.
Think about it. That's what I'm saying. How is Iron Man this big? They haven't shown what he's really done. The only thing they've shown from the two movies is he stopped Obadiah, which was because of Tony.
He stopped Obadiah, and then he stopped a dude from killing him.
Yeah.
That's it.
And he has one terrorist. He stopped some terrorist, which he probably should have been arrested for doing anyways.
Like 30 terrorists in the desert using weapons that no one authorized.
Yeah.
Like just flying. And this was after, when he actually has the Iron Man suit in the first one. He goes back and just does revenge fighting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. He should have been captured, or at least fucking, held back and been like, hey, man, can you sort of explain what the fuck you're doing? But none of that happens. And then, when they do end up doing it, he hijacks the hearing.
Yeah.
And he does another illegal thing, taking over, like, people's fucking audio video and shit through his phone.
And look how he talked to, like, the Congress or whatever.
Yeah, he basically told them...
Like I said, he called them ass clowns.
Yeah. And he just sort of shuts them down. He's like, I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Who cares? This is my suit, not your suit.
Yeah. I'll go pleasure myself.
Yeah.
Because that's like you said, that's the cool thing about this movie, is that they because I don't think Disney is backing it went there with the dialogue. It was that, like, they made sexual jokes, and all that stuff.
They were just hating.
And it was lighthearted, but it had a point to it, unlike Iron Man 1.
Yeah, so, Iron Man 1 had absolutely no point.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2 sort of had a point, and a deeper, like, what you're talking about with the legacy and whatnot. And, yeah, it totally goes to places that you don't see many of the other... Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy gets as close to being this sexual. But in this one, it's like, the language. And the way the language is used. Hammer calls Pepper a bitch.
Yeah.
He's like, get this bitch out of here, or something like that.
Let's speak on Hammer. I liked Hammer.
He was
great, dude.
He's like ignorant, smart, and malicious. It's really weird.
He, to me, is why the movie didn't fall apart. Like, if it was just Ivan and Stark, it would have just been terrible.
Well, you need Hammer.
Hammer really brought that all together. And he was, like you said, he was that second villain, quote unquote, I guess. That was the benefactor to it. It made... And Tony just sort of always, like, blows him off. Like, he's like, dude, you're fucking weak.
And Hammer wants to be his friend. It looks like Hammer just sort of wants to be his friend, and Tony's...
Just be allies or whatnot.
Yeah, Tony's, like, blowing him off as...
And that's what's great about the legacy theme, right? Like, Tony's trying to cement his legacy as Iron Man and goes out as this, world overseer.
Yeah,
right?
whatever.
And Hammer and Ivan, Hammer has a bad reputation. Ivan, obviously, with what Howard did to his dad, they have a bad legacy. And even Ivan tells him when he's about to fuck him up, Ivan's like, I'm about to do to you what you did to my pops. What your pops did to my pops, I'm about to fuck your legacy up, dude.
That's why he goes like, you loose.
Yeah,
he
even
knows,
though I didn't get it.
Well, he knows what he's doing, that he's ruining his legacy.
Yeah.
Like, look.
You're not that great.
Yeah, he's like, one, and they even sort of shouted out, like, yeah, someone had that technology, so he knows that Iron Man's biggest point of, like, keeping the Iron Man suit is that no one else is close to the technology, because they show him sitting there watching all the press reports and whatnot.
Yeah, I'd say most countries 5-10 years away. Hammer Industries 20.
I'd like to point out that test pilot survived.
Yeah.
So when he's making the technology and it gets exposed and he shows that Iron Man can be, like, damn near fucked up at any time. It just takes one dude to make that same technology. It really starts freaking people out. So he knows that Tony, at this point, he lost his legal standing that he thought he had.
And that's what's great, because you realize, too, Tony is he's only trying to be Iron Man. He doesn't give a fuck about anything else. He doesn't give a fuck about the business or whatnot. And he's slacking off, and he's sort of pissing even Pepper off, his main bitch. And, you know, like I said, that to me, making her CEO was a power move more than it was, oh, I care about you, like, kind of thing. It's like I said, like a main bitch. Does he really love her, or is he such a jackass that he's just like, well, she's always by my side, she's hella loyal, so might as well put this bitch on right now.
Well, you know? See that in that scene. I sort of like that scene because it just shows how calculated he is. Like, he makes it seem...
Was it calculated?
Oh, yeah. He makes it seem like it was a complete surprise to him. Like, he just thought of the idea. But then you turn around and look, and the robot already has champagne and glasses. Like, he already had it set up that he was going to tell her. He just is so manipulative, he made it seem like it was just popped out of his head. Like, oh, you be CEO. But in reality, I think Tony's so prepared. He understands that he is dying.
Yeah.
He understands that the government's breathing down his neck. He needs to set up a strong head to his company.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he's going to be fucked. Or his technology is going to be fucked. Because I don't think he cares about himself.
No, obviously. Because think about it. When he knows he's dying, he just goes in self-destructive alcoholic mode.
Yeah.
And that, to me, led, to the party when he pisses himself, right?
Oh, God. That's hilarious.
Rhodey shows up.
Well, Rhodey's a...
Don Cheadle.
Don Teddy Cheadle.
He has like one good joke about the fucking 3D whatever crossword puzzle on his neck.
Oh,
he
yeah.
said some cool thing. And
he's like, oh, you got, well, look at that high-tech crossword puzzle on your neck or something like that, right?
And to me, the only good action scene in the movie, like thoroughly good action scene, which had to me the most weight in any Iron Man action scene was, and I thought it was really cool too and funny, was when Rhodey stole the suit to stop Iron Man from being a jackass and getting some sexual harassment cases on him. And
I like that
one-on-one.
Scene. Yeah, I like that scene.
I liked it a lot.
I would compare it to the last scene of Civil War in terms of Iron Man fighting.
Yeah.
Because that was a really solid, smooth fighting scene for Iron Man.
Well, and what I liked about it was, like I said, the weight to it, because at the end of it, it sort of explained where he was as a character, right?
Yeah.
Like, his character was basically, he's beat, he's done, fuck it, I'm dying.
And then
take the suit, bitch. Because, he was protecting his Second Amendment in the Congress scene, basically saying, you can't take my property, bitch, it's my property.
Pretty much,
and
yeah.
You don't have the knowledge to figure out if it is a weapon or not. So you tell me, because I'm protecting people. I've done nothing but protect. That's why he's acting like such a cocky prick.
Well, yeah, he's defeated, and you have to imagine that he passed out in the suit because it looks like he was wearing it the next day to go get donuts and the munchies.
And then, there you go.
There's
that Nick Fury pet talk.
The good old patented.
Nick Fury, top 3 character in Marvel.
Oh, dude.
Hands down.
He's edging up there. It goes like Cap, number 1.
Yeah.
Cap, number 2. Nick Fury, number 3. Because Cap gets 2 slots. Because he's that great.
Yeah, damn near.
But no, Nick Fury is probably top 3, I would say he's number 2, below Cap. Because Nick Fury, in this movie, and in every movie he's been in, has driven the plot more. And
his interaction with Cap and Winter Soldier and Iron Man in anything is always great. It's compelling.
And the way he delivers.
Do you think that's some Tarantino shit? Because, that's how it was for him in Pulp Fiction and whatnot. Just every sit down.
Well, not Tarantino. Great. It's just, that's Nick Fury shit. I mean, not Nick Fury, sorry.
Nick Fury shit.
He is Nick Fury. Samuel L. Jackson shit. His delivery is perfect for this type of character because he's supposed to be a choppy, strong, aggressive, way of speaking.
Yeah.
And Nick Fury is a general of a fucking secret military organization, but he also has some swagger.
Yeah.
He pulls off the Columbine coat. He pulls it off.
That's not. Yeah, just the way it blows in the wind as he's walking, he's just like, bruh,
It's him and Scott Summers pull that off.
Yeah.
But
and this was my problem though. Like Nick Fury, he had a funny little interaction with Tony. He was basically saying, "Look, dude, stop trying to do this shit on your own." And this is what Rhodey said to him too. Is like, it doesn't have to be just you doing this.
Well, Rhodey,
you need help, motherfucker. Look at you. You're dying.
Yeah. And even Rhodey, like you said, Rhodey said that to him. But Rhodey, at the same time, this is the most you ever see Rhodey buck against Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because he's like, throughout all the other movies, he's just sort of down. And in this one, when he's over Tony Stark, he's like, well, then fuck you. I'm just commandeering your shit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fight you.
Commandeering is, because technically he did deserve to take the suit. Tony was being a jackass. He was being dangerous. And
they show that in the first scene with his paragraph. He's like, the Iron Man suit, yes, it's necessary, but Tony's... And even at the end, S.H.I.E.L.D. says that to him. Tony Stark's dangerous.
Yeah.
And you see this... they're setting this up.
Yes, they are.
He fucks everything up.
Yep.
And so, in this movie, you see the beginning of that.
He should just be a consultant.
Yeah. Why is he an Avenger and then the de facto leader of half of the shitty Avengers at the end? How does that progress? Because even at the beginning of his Avengers tenure, he's not... They don't think he's responsible enough to even be in the Avengers as a full-time Avenger.
That's true.
Even
though he's more than qualified. Yeah. Definitely more than Cap.
Well, Cap was... Cap had 90 years to think about how he would lead a team of superhumans. So that's probably
but he was killing Nazis, not aliens.
Yeah, but it's like something about Cap so natural that he probably foresaw it, because even with the one scene in Avengers, he knew who they were before they came out.
Yeah.
So he just knew it.
So basically, taking from that scene where he was talking to Iron Man, that's when also Romanoff gets exposed, which was cool. And God, she was so fucking sexy. And
the curly hair works.
Yeah.
But her outfit.
Yeah.
It's costume's what kids wear for Halloween.
Yeah. And so Fury, he basically makes that great pep talk. He makes Stark realize maybe I do need help. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this alone. And he gives him the made up chemical he has to help Tony not die.
Yeah. He's this is a lithium cum oxide.
Yeah.
And it's like a nice milky substance I jerk out, and we can just inject it right in there in you.
And motherfucker.
And and I like how he's so smart that he understands there's something on the tape.
Yeah.
And he forces him to sit there and watch it. He puts him on lockdown. He's like, I know something's up, and I know you can figure it out. That's how sick Fury is.
But that's the thing, to explain that generalized thing you just said, to give it more details, is that also connects Tony with his dad, too, right? As like you said, Tony thinks he's better than his dad, and Fury basically explains what the fuck is going on.
Well, yeah.
Hey, you think your dad's just this arms dealer? He ain't Nicolas Cage. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he starts explaining that, yeah.
And he basically tells him, look, if you figure out what your dad left behind, what he was really doing, you'll actually live, you selfish fuck. So figure it out.
And he gives him the box of goodies.
And that was my problem too with the movie, is that that exposition scene just sort of bothered me. Because it didn't, because that could have connected Ivan more to the movie instead of it just being Ivan doing his own thing the whole time, and then these meetups. You know,
They didn't introduce enough gravity to the fact that, like, it seemed like they're mostly just talking about Tony and Howard Stark.
Yeah, because it's a self-absorbed movie.
Yeah, and if you're gonna have exposition, if you have to have it, at least use it to help explain the villain too, right?
Yeah.
So I totally would agree with that, but at the same time, the one thing that sort of saved that is Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
His delivery.
The way he says it makes it cool. Yeah, I agree.
And like I said, he sets him up Coulson. I like Coulson a lot, so I like
even their exchange, like when Tony Stark pulled out his magic wand and made an element before Coulson comes through, and they just have a great interaction, like this short interaction, one word at a time to each other. Interaction.
They're both one-lining.
You could tell that Coulson, if at any point if they wanted to include S.H.I.E.L.D. more and more in the movies, Coulson would just be the shit.
Well, yeah, and he's
beloved amongst the Marvel community too,
right? You know? It's weird. Well, he got his own show,
yeah.
So people did end up liking him, and he represents, because he is sort of meek looking, but he comes across as being very strong.
Yeah,
he looks like the average Joe, but he actually kicks ass.
And see, that's my problem too, is that other than Coulson, Fury, there isn't many other good. What do you call it? Supporting characters. To me, I mean, Happy's okay, but he's never really any part of anything, which would make sense since you're the fucking director.
Yeah, but and I was brought that up too. Who directs the movie when he's in the scene?
Yeah, that happens a lot, but I'm just saying, Happy was a bigger character like in Iron Man 3 to me.
Yeah, the little bit of time he was in that too. And same with Iron Man 1. The little bit of time he's in it, he's good.
Yeah. Well, we love Hammer. I liked Hammer. So I guess that was a really good supporting character.
I would say Hammer is more of a main character because he's driving the plot a lot too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's the whole reason why Ivan gets... And see, here's my bigger thing, right? Ivan, his plan, all right? Going to Monaco... somehow no one can recognize that this guy looks like the scariest motherfucker on the planet.
And
he could just wear he just wear a cockpit fucking uniform, and
you mean a pit crew uniform? A cockpit. He's a pilot now.
Pit crew, yeah. And he doesn't do anything. He just walks around scoping with a fucking lollipop in his mouth like a weirdo.
Yeah.
Or was a lollipop or is that a toothpick?
It's a toothpick. It's soaked
it's probably
in vodka.
I was just about to say that. And his plan was to, I guess, make Iron Man look like a fraud, right? He can't really protect anybody. So that was your plan. Were you going to kill him? I mean, he had a chance at killing him. He got lucky as Happy. Like I said, Happy did the most unrealistic thing ever. He sacrifices, or he risks his Pepper's life to get the suit to Tony Stark because Monaco has no police, apparently, at the raceway.
At one of the most popular races.
Like, because did a suit, it showed his skin. Was his suit going to stop bullets?
No. Apparently, well, you would imagine not. And apparently it can stop a car.
Yeah.
So who knows?
And
maybe it can.
He was watching a little too much Russian fucking subtitle Indiana Jones because he loves whips.
And speaking of, you see how much Happy risks it when he is Indiana Jonesing the car. Because he's like ripping chunks of the car off.
This weird Russian but I did like Mickey Rourke's performance, though. It was believable as that guy. He was kind of a jackass.
Yeah. He was super Russian.
Yeah. He was huge.
And he was huge. And just the way he acted that character, it made you... He was the good foil to Tony Stark, because he was also a cocky asshole.
Yeah.
Who was
I just wish they showed him killed more people. That's
it.
I wish they just made him a little more intense instead of this broken man, right? And that's what I'm saying is my point, is the legacy theme of the Vanko legacy to the Stark legacy. What's the real difference?
True. And it's all about it's all about the same thing, essentially, too. Yeah. It's an energy arms race.
But what were you saying the other day when we watched the movie about Stark?
Oh, that he just...
that he basically planned it the whole time to fuck over Vanko.
Yeah,
so that he could come up off the idea.
Basically, he deports... Because you would have to imagine he has the exact same blueprints.
Yeah.
Vanko does. And he went... And he essentially sends him to a country where he knows he'll never have the technology to actually make the powerful energy.
Even though apparently he had enough to make an arc reactor.
Yeah, because they call him a quote-unquote spy.
Yeah.
But it's like, Howard, you let the spies into Hydra yourself with your Operation Paperclip, which you find out, whatever. But so you're essentially saying that this dude was a quote-unquote Russian spy? I doubt that. I think you stole that shit and you got him deported because you're Howard fucking Stark, the billionaire. You have the power to do that. And so he passes it on to his shitty fucking son. And so if you look at it on the other side, what that ends up causing, making happen is another family's ripped apart. A dad becomes an alcoholic, is also cold to his son, but since they don't have the same opportunity, that son also becomes a physicist like his dad, but a criminal. A black market arms
Nothing
dealer.
worse than a criminal physicist, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, because that's a true fucking super,
that's
villain.
my point with the movie, is that it wasn't enough Ivan. It just felt like two different movies that got meshed together. It wasn't enough Ivan to, he could have been he was smart as fuck.
Yeah, he hacks all the drones immediately when he sees them. When Hammer walks them in, is like, "Hey, these are my toys, my big GI Joes that I plan on putting."
But that's my problem with it, right? He's so smart, yet his ideas. I guess I get it, but I mean, you could do a lot more at the same time. What he was trying to do to Iron Man.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't know. Maybe he was going to kill him, and it was a funny action scene. I liked it, like when Happy's driving the car.
That cut in some weird comedy.
It was
into
funny
that
though,
scene.
yeah. And
it starts making you laugh in a really intense part of the movie.
Yeah.
So that was cool. It actually didn't make you feel that awkward in the movie. It broke it up.
But that's my point. What did that accomplish other than maybe showing that Iron Man's vulnerable, and you're going to be in prison for your life for that?
Well, yeah.
It didn't really make any sense, and he obviously had no plan B. He was just going to rot in prison. And another thing, Iron Man apparently can just interrogate anyone in a foreign country by himself.
Well, in other countries, if you got dough in the pocket, you can do pretty much
anything. That's true. Okay. So again, Tony Stark doing some shady shit, even though he's a hero.
Well, he's not part of the Avengers yet, so he doesn't have that accountability in mind yet.
Oh, that's true.
Think about it. Even during the race scene, Tony doesn't seem to give a shit about the other drivers. Ivan for sure doesn't give a fuck about the other drivers. He cuts some dude's feet off, right before he gets Tony.
But what was the point, though? Is what I'm saying. Other than that, he was going to rot in jail just to make Iron Man look bad one time.
Well, it's not just one time. It's like I said. I think it was.
He knew he was going to get caught. As he was getting caught, he was like, "You lose." I was like, "Bro, how?"
He sort of does, though. Look at what happens after.
That was forced to me. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Maybe he knows, but he sort of knows. Think about it. I don't know. I just thought of this.
Well, because remember they were in the interrogation room, what he said to him.
Yeah, he's like, Palladium's like a horrible way to die. So if he knows that Iron Man's going to die, and he knows that Iron Man's trying to protect his legacy, and he knows the government's closing in. That's the only way he can
hurt him. Okay.
Yeah. He's basically ruining his company, too.
So you're saying because he knows he's dying.
Yeah. Damn. Ivan is a genius.
Holy shit.
I didn't even think about that.
I guess I retract that statement then.
That's crazy.
Because I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
I did not. Wow.
And that's crazy, too, because as he gets saved, he's still sort of like, fuck it. He gets saved and he's like, okay, I guess I'll leave.
Yeah.
And he just leaves and fucks up some dudes and he's like, all right. And then he goes sees Hammer, which is a great scene.
Well, speaking of that, just not to cut you off, but what I really liked about that, speaking of like, okay, fuck it, is when he figures out he has to murder the dude they put into his cell that looked like him. He just looks at his, number on his suit, and looks at his number on his suit, and he kills him. He's like, all right, I guess this is what's happening. The potato's a bomb.
Yeah. So, and then he meets Hammer.
But Hammer's the shit.
Hammer's great. That interaction was great, too. And he's like, he's basically telling him, I want to make Tony Stark look like a jackass. I want to hurt his legacy, too.
I want to make Iron Man look like an antique. I want to go to that Stark Expo. I want to take a dump in Tony's front yard. You know what I'm talking about?
I can do that. Yeah? No problem.
Yeah.
So me and you we're on the same page here. And, of course, he says it this jackass way with his fucking fake tan hands.
Yeah, he's like, so you see, I got this expo spot,
Yeah.
and I just want to get there, and Tony Stark and me used to be best friends, and I just want to be at his level.
Yeah.
Is essentially what he's saying. But at the same time...
And Mickey Rourke, like, somehow like a caveman, even though he's probably the smartest dude in this movie now, apparently. He's like, what? Salmon? Fucking waiters around me? What is this?
He's like,
damn, dude, you were that dirt poor? Like, I guess they were that dirt poor, but you never been to a restaurant, bro?
look at look how poor he looked in the opening scene when he's leaning against the wall and his dad starts coughing and he turns around and he gives like the most like, fucking little orphan fucking look. He's like, Papa.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were living in like a fucking hallway.
And how typical, right? He has his vodka-soaked rye bread that he eats with butter.
With butter, yeah.
That's his.
Oh, we didn't even mention how shitty the opening scene was.
Oh God, that scene was terrible.
That was the worst
scene.
It
cut away, like I said, it cut away. I mean, this movie there's so many good things about it. So many good things. The piffy dialogue that had a point. The built suspense to the action scenes. The characters. Right?
Yeah.
Most of them. Some of the other supporting characters I thought were weak. But for the most part, especially Tony, were really well done.
Even Black Widow's sort of weak in this one.
Yeah. She's sexy, though. So who cares? But Pepper's other than her, because like I said, Tony took a book out of Terrence. I mean, obviously he was like, hey, you know what? Terrence Howard is not going to be on the set anymore. I might as well learn from his hustle and flow ways and make this chick my main bitch.
Yeah.
And,
well, he even starts wearing wife beaters. So...
Yeah, I think that's what was going on with Ivan. I think him and Terrence Howard were pimping some bitches back there and fucking.
That's how he got caught up.
And then that's what I'm saying. He has this pimp cup for his parrot. That he's feeding fucking Tonka vodka to.
Yeah, and he looks up and he's like, yes.
That's why he wants his bird, because he fucking gets it drunk and he takes advantage of it.
He's like,
Ivan's raping his bird.
Oh, but he gets a new bird. And I like.
And where's the bird? On his knee, like near his nutsack.
Yeah.
He's probably got this fucking old, saggy nutsack.
Dude, and that's what I liked about this is it shows he's more than just...
You like that he had a saggy nutsack?
I mean, it fits his character. He probably couldn't afford underwear.
Well, he definitely couldn't afford nail clippers or grooming of his nails.
Yeah, well, that was the suspense of the movie, was when he was going to wash his hands.
And why does he look like a mixture of fucking Chris Angel and Mad Max? Like, what the fuck is that shit?
Right? He looks like a white Rastafarian. You know what he looks like is a Russian Rob Zombie.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looks like the wrestler.
And his white and black hair just pissed me off. Like, you could tell it wasn't Mickey. It just didn't look right on Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, they put some tracks in his hair and fucking attached the long fucking weird dreads.
Yeah, he looked like he should have been in that weird 300 scene when fucking...
Oh, God. No, it's
true. With the hunchback.
The humpback. The whale scene of 300 when they crossed over to Moby Dick.
No, but what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so
Hammer. No, speaking of hair, is the weirdest Ivan's hair ever looks in the movies when they rip the bag off his head and like half of it's pulled up and the other half's hanging down, and he just looks at him and he's like, "Yulos."
God.
But I like the interaction between them.
Yeah.
Like, because it's funny.
I like the interaction with anyone with Hammer.
Well, because Hammer's a businessman. He's not smart like Tony. They make that very fucking clear. When he's looking at him taking over the drones a little bit later on, he's like confused by the fact that Ivan can just reprogram the drones. He's like, oh, okay. Like, he got through the firewall then. Like, he's just concerned about
Remember he kept saying, Pat, he was like, yeah, can we get those passcodes?
Yeah.
With those passcodes.
He's like, we need to get that encrypted passcode. We just get him an encrypted passcode right here, and we'll just set him up with an encrypted passcode. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, it is. Hammer's an idiot. But he's also very menacing.
And he also fucking techs up the War Machine suit that Rhodey stole, which is funny, right? Because going back to the Fury scene with Tony Stark, he's like, you let that little brother take your suit?
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
And then he attaches 2 fucking Uzis to it.
And a 9 he puts a 9 on it. He puts a, it wasn't a Tommy gun.
It's
It
like
looked like a goddamn Halo gun. I don't know what you
call
call it.
A minigun.
Yeah. No. The rifle, the assault rifle.
Oh, that's right. The Halo assault. Yeah, the battle rifle from Halo.
And then he gives him the dildo missile that doesn't work. At
It
the
doesn't.
end.
That's the knockoff sex toy missile. See, Hammer's running this opposite sex toy scheme. You end up.
He's also trying to get in the sex toy business. Also,
Yeah.
He's trying to. I think that's the real problem. That's why he's really pissed. He's losing the sex toy stocks to Tony Stark.
Yeah, because that's what was something we've really thought of as being real in the Iron Man universe is that Tony Stark likes to make weapons that are also looking like dildos, and he does it a lot. And in this one, I don't think he does it in this one, does he? Hammer
And
does.
this is my problem too with Hammer. Sometimes he seems smart. Sometimes he's just really fucking stupid.
Well, does he ever seem smart though, or does he just seem more commanding sometimes? Because even
Okay,
when
I can agree with that. Yeah.
When he's trying to yoke
He just
Ivan,
thinks shit's gonna happen for him.
Yeah.
He's just like, all right, if I pay and take care of these motherfuckers, they'll do something for me at
right?
least.
And even when he goes to yoke Ivan, and he's like, it seems like he's sort of yoking him, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you don't even know what you're doing.
And to our slang, yoking means.
Oh, to fucking. He tries to put his authority over Ivan, you know. And so he just takes his shit and puts a bird in a bag, apparently. And he
Well, he knew that was going to bother him the most.
Yeah, and so it seems smart, right?
Well,
but it's really dumb.
If Ivan wasn't sexually involved with the bird, what else could you do to him?
Well, also, too, why did Ivan have no oversight team? Like, why did Hammer think it was just okay to break a criminal out of jail? Like, a proven criminal.
And fake his death.
And fake his death. Somehow he set that up. Whatever. I'm not arguing. I get it. It's fucking Tony Stark somehow got the interrogation to begin with. So, you can't really argue that shit.
Yeah.
And I guess prison guards are way easier to bribe than police. So,
True.
Look at how many of them bring drugs in the real days.
Yep.
Just not
in the real days?
In the real days? In real life. Just not explosive potatoes.
I like the real days.
In the real days. That's what I'm going to call my first album.
This yeah, and you know, to me, I didn't really like the interaction between Pepper and Tony again.
Yeah,
like,
the whole
like
movie.
I said, it just feels like pimp, main bitch, or brother sister.
And
whatever one you want to take, it doesn't feel right. The sexual tension was way more believable because Scarlett Johansson just leaks that shit.
Yeah, but it's not
it.
the sexual tension between him and Pepper. It's him and Scarlett Johansson have sexual tension.
Yeah.
So you still don't see that with him and Pepper. And the only time you actually see some emotion is when she finds out that he's been lying to her about dying.
Yeah.
That's the only time. Other
As
than
if
that,
he owes that shit to her. He's like,
Right?
bitch, I was going to make you an omelet and tell you, but you're being a fucking bitch, so fuck you.
And exactly. And he, like, the way she acts towards him throughout the whole movie is just like, demand, demand, demand. But he's like, dude, I made you CEO.
Yeah.
Like, why are you mad at me?
I just created an element for endless energy. Get off
Right?
my back.
I was fucking in my basement putting tubes together to make the infinity triangle. And, you know, we need the energy. But I'm not going to give it to anyone. I'm just going to stick it in my chest. Because I'm Tony fucking Stark. And this is the best meth I've ever had.
And then he still gives Hammer a slot in the fucking expo, like an asshole.
And dude,
he doesn't like Hammer, but he gives him the slot. Even though he's going to show off guns. And he doesn't even bother. And how good of a CEO is Pepper? She doesn't even bother to realize what Hammer's doing.
Well, I mean, that's what makes you think, too, because it seems like he's like, oh, I'm not making guns anymore, but this is the World Expo, so I guess if you want to show off guns, you can go ahead and show off guns. Or, on the other end, why do they all look so surprised about what he's showing off? You think if they were doing a good job at running their expo, they'd realize who was showing off what. Like, that would have already been... I feel like in these things, you can't just hide what you're going to show off and then just be like, this is my big surprise.
Yeah.
You know, you have to tell people, like, whoever's managing the actual show.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But Hammer, I mean, you know who he really shocked? Was the whole fucking audience with that dance.
Oh, yeah. That was nice.
That was some Michael Jackson shit, like some fucking James Brown just, like, killing it.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was really him. I like to believe that was the actor doing it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would hope so.
I really do. If they CGI'd his head, if they Captain America'd him and put his head on a different body, I don't know if I could handle that.
And then they start going in Act 3, and Ivan's, plan unveils as Iron Man just thinks he could just show up to the expo now because he has this fucking orgasm of energy that he's getting, and just to shit on Hammer's day.
In the middle of someone's presentation, you're just going to fly in.
Yeah.
Which, in his mind, he knew something was up, I guess.
Well, did he figure it out? Because I remember Ivan gave him the call.
Yeah.
So maybe he thought something was going to go down at the expo? Maybe.
I don't, yeah.
Oh, no, remember? No. Okay, I figured it out. Remember, the Jarvis told him where he was located, and I think it was Hammer's spot.
Oh, speaking of that. Come on, Tony Stark has the best technology in the world, and he still has to hold the dude on for a couple of minutes to get his location. Like, he has the fucking same basic...
he could pull up trading cards in front of his face in the Iron Man shit of all people in front of him in the Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
But he can't. He has to take 2 minutes to track
Yeah, he has the same basic police technology for phone tracking.
Which was obviously just a plot device to have Ivan tell him what's going to pop off.
Well...
Because Ivan's like, you lose.
Well, maybe again. Maybe at this point he hadn't conspired with Elon Musk to put up that satellite. They did show him talking, and he's like, I'll make you an electric jet. He's like, I don't fucking need one. I have a suit. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, so Ivan thinks, you're right, for whatever reason, or no, Tony thinks, sorry, not Ivan. Tony thinks for whatever reason it's just okay to come in the middle of someone's presentation and start accusing them of a crime.
Yeah.
Like, that's some shit. Fucking, people get flack for that today for, like, accusing people, like, during broadcasts or during important fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And Tony...
And like I said, Tony only feeling good about himself when he knows the odds are stacked in his favor.
Well, yeah, he's got a new ticker.
When he wasn't, when he had to dig himself out of something, he was self-destructive and cowered up and just gave up and wanted to die.
Well, he tells Pepper when they find out, that he has bad press, he's like, let's just disappear, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, he can't handle it.
Which, I mean...
So then again, I guess Ivan's advice worked. He made Tony scared. He made him cowered up.
Well, but...
He made him want to give up.
Yeah, and the only person who can save him was fucking Fury. Because think about it. Fury, what a weird way to wait that long on what if Fury knew that there was potentially good information with how to finish up energy, why did he wait till Tony Stark was like dying to give it to him?
I don't know. Maybe because of what happened with Rhodey. Then that's when Fury found it out, was like, okay, dude.
Yeah.
You let that little brother get away?
Yeah. But at the same time, they showed that they know it's like, we've been keeping an eye on your condition the moment we knew about it.
Yeah.
Like, so why wouldn't you just give him the fucking infinite clean energy to begin with? Fury just, he's that
Well, no,
smart.
he didn't know that. Remember, Iron Man had to figure it out.
Well, yeah, but he knew that there was something else.
And that's the thing, the link with his dad. Like I said, Iron Man thought he was so much better than his dad, but really at the end of the day, that's what linked him and his dad, is that he realized, look, he wasn't just a guy that was trying to sell weapons and whatnot. Maybe that wasn't even his actual plan. It just became that. He had the same wants and beliefs I do now, being Iron Man.
Yeah.
I want to protect people, and I want to create energy for people. I want to create this endless energy. So now, everything I would assume would be cheaper, right? Or
you would think.
And like, you don't have, it would obviously
be no
save
energy
the environment.
bills,
yeah, like you wouldn't have to use gas.
Everything be electric.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need gas. No, you wouldn't need fuel anymore.
And he uses that technology.
Yeah.
Probably in the future.
Well,
as he did now.
No, he uses it to make fucking Stark Tower, which ends up being the fucking catalyst for the apocalypse. So fuck Tony Stark and his stupid ventures.
Yeah.
But the end, the Oracle.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
It was a sick
Did you
scene.
like it? I liked the drones flying around trying to kill Iron Man. That was great.
Well, it shows Iron Man doesn't give a fuck about civilians, because there's multiple times where he's getting shot at and he's flying, literally going towards groups of people getting shot at.
Yeah.
Like, and the drones are lighting groups of people up, you'd have to imagine.
So is Ivan's plan technically genius? Because no matter what, he's killing Iron Man, and he's trying to kill Iron Man, and if he dies, which was my problem with the movie, the fight was with him should have been at least like 5 minutes. They made it like a 30-second fucking thing. And the setting of it was really nice, that Oracle botanical garden thing. That shit was hella cool. I actually liked it, but
I liked them fighting all the, whatchamacallit?
The drones.
The drones.
It looked like a video game, though.
It did look like a video game, but at the same time, I thought that it was some of the better War Machine action that we've seen throughout the movies.
Except for the faulty dildo missile.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. And what pissed me off about that is the whole time they're not, like, when Ivan actually comes, I hated how they had to take his helmet off. It looked so fake.
Yeah, he looked weirder and fatter than Obadiah in the Iron Man suit.
I mean, so now there's...
Even though the suit looked cool as fuck. It looked like Iron Giant shit.
That was the real, what is that? There's an actual one in it, I think it's called fucking something, but there is a character, because he was supposed to be I
don't know where you're going with this, man.
Oh, well, Ivan was supposed to be like a combination of two different characters. He was the combination Whiplash, and then there's another dude, he's called like the Iron Curtain or some dumb shit like that, but he is the Soviet Iron Man. So he was supposed to be like a combination of that, and that shit looked sick. But at the same time, how did he have the Jedi skills to use those whips?
I don't know.
Fucking physicist.
I told you he watched Indiana Jones in Russian subtitles for years straight.
That was the only
That's
movie
all he
in prison.
could afford.
Yeah. Well, no, there's that. He was in prison for 15 years. They only had the trilogy. That and Star Wars, so apparently he knew how to handle himself.
But yeah, so the fight ends so abruptly, but really at the end of the day, which sort of pisses me off, Tony, again, not taking accountability, only saves Pepper, which he somehow knows where she is.
Yeah, oddly.
That's number one. Only saves her. Then, as Mickey Rourke screams out, "Yolos," blew up all the drones in which I'm assuming stayed in the Stark Expo, which they vacated. I hope.
To think for the
but
most
still,
part.
people died.
People are dying.
Had to have.
There's
and
millions.
Tony's just reminiscing and rejoicing with Pepper Potts as War Machine's fucking jerking it in the background.
Yeah, War Machine's like, I'm gonna need a
he's like, yo, hey, Tony, hit me when you need some cuckolding, you know?
Yeah. He's like, I'll come over here. You can sit in the closet and jack off. I'll show her what a little brother can do.
Yeah. And they have this weird, which I don't feel like kiss romance thing.
God, that was the most awkward.
Weird.
That was more awkward than Thor, dude.
And I'm not saying that Pepper Potts isn't sexy or nothing. I'm just saying it just doesn't. You don't buy it.
No, there is absolutely zero relationship between them in terms of what the viewer gets out of it.
Yeah, if you're saying that they're these, potential husband and wife relationship, I don't see it. I
yeah,
just don't.
Well, they're on the brink of divorce before they get married. Why? That's what it seems like.
Yeah. And
she's just ready to dip because before he makes her CEO, she's literally coming down there to tell him like, I'm cool.
I'm done
doing this. And then for whatever reason, he's like,
even though she was all excited to do it when he gave it to her.
Yeah, so she just hella greedy.
So not only did she do that, and you remember as he was doing his fucking boxing training, she was telling him like, hey, get the fuck over here and sign these papers to make me CEO. So she was obviously super excited. But then when shit starts going wrong for you, or whatever, now you're gonna lash out at him.
Well, that's how it is the entire time.
Yeah.
The entire arc of her character throughout all the movies, she just gets pissed off at him.
Yeah.
For shit.
For being a hero.
Yeah, and most of the time it's shit that happens to him.
Yeah.
She's getting mad at him for shit that's happening to him. So she's just, in her mind, it's like, hey, I know that everything can't be perfect, but can you make it as perfect as possible? And every time there's just this little change in the plans, she loses her shit.
Yeah.
She just has no flexibility, essentially. Except for maybe in bed, because that seems to be why he's with her. Which they never show that either. So who knows? And he's trying to bang Romanoff. He's like, damn, where's she from? He even asked her that. She's like, legal? He's like, oh, you got me one-liners.
I even like that shit, too. He was like, she modeled in Tokyo, and he looked at Pepper Potts. He's like, did you model in Tokyo?
Right?
Bitch.
Good way to ruin
But that's
someone's...
the chick you want to marry. You say shit like that to her.
Eventually. He needs a therapist, dude. Like
I don't get him. I literally think he's so selfish that he's just with Pepper because he knows it's better for him. Well, it's not anything like that he cares about her so much, which you see in Iron Man 3 that they try and bring out. But to me, what I'm getting from is that he's so self-absorbed that he's just like, well, she takes care of me and she's loyal, so I might as well stay with her.
No, I completely would agree with that.
That's an abuse. That's typical shit of abusive relationships.
Yeah. And on top of that, that's just sort of how he acts about everything. Because think about it.
Yeah.
The whole ending, like we just said, people must have died. So what does he do? He rewards himself. Like on television. And he makes his Hail Hydra guy.
Nemesis.
His nemesis, apparently. His weird... Because he remembers, he knows what's up with that guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to make him shout me out and give me this gold medal. And then that way, you know, I'll be fucking great. And people will think that I need to
that's
keep
how
Iron
it
Man.
ends.
And that's it.
Because Fury's like, hey, you know, you can only be a consultant right now for the Avengers. And Iron Man's like, fuck you, you know? And he's like, well, wait, I guess I'll do it if you make that fucking guy, you know,
which is
basically in public get on his knees.
Yeah.
Because really, if you think about it, if you actually got that C-SPAN thing, if that's what actually played on the TV, it ended with that guy saying, fuck you, Tony Stark.
Yeah. And then at the same time, he has to double back and give him a Medal of Honor or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
He wants to be an asshole to the point where he's going to congratulate himself for almost causing, not almost causing which you have to assume could be potentially thousands of deaths, millions, if not billions of dollars worth of destruction, all because of a personal vendetta. And at the end, he's going to be like, but I kicked his ass, so give me a medal.
Yeah, that's true.
Tony Stark's a dick. Who needed a year-long expo? What do you do for a year? How did you take over a part of a town or a city? That's in a city.
And apparently, his expo caused problems. It caused danger, technically.
His expo caused danger, and in this one, the thing that saved him in the last one, his arc reactor, is causing him danger. It's causing him problems. And I wouldn't be surprised if in future movies...
Would the world of Marvel be a better place if Tony Stark died?
Yeah. If he died in Iron Man 1, yeah. There wouldn't be half the amount of problems there are now because
even Vision said it. Look, motherfucker, I've been your computer for 7 years. He says it in Civil War. I've been your computer for 7 years. You're the cause of this shit.
Yeah.
You coming out as a superhero caused all of this.
Well, think about it, too. If Tony Stark... Let's really think about this. If Tony Stark he died in the first one, right? The first Avengers, there'd be no Stark Tower, there'd be no plan for them. Boom, done. Fucking Captain America, sorry, not Captain America, the second Avengers, there'd be no Ultron.
Yeah.
Done. Even in
Iron
other
Man 3.
movies,
Iron Man
3, yeah, there'd probably still be... Well, no, because he made the Extremis.
He made the Extremis.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so I guess if he died in Iron Man 1, but if Tony... Okay, let's just say...
In Iron Man 3, he didn't necessarily make the Extremis like that because he made it like 20 years ago, so it'd still be around. Like, so yeah, so I guess he'd have to die way before... If he had died as a child, there'd be no problems in the Marvel universe.
There wouldn't even be Civil War if he died as a child.
No, because think about it. If he had actually been doing his job in Civil War... and not just doing whatever, deciding not to be Iron Man, or if he had not armed the ships in Winter Soldier with the fucking technology to become weapon helicarriers, then that one dude wouldn't have had a building crash on him, and he wouldn't have become Crossbones. So there'd be no blowing up of the fucking Wakandans.
It's true. And I think to list it all, Iron Man is a pussy, an asshole, a dick, a coward, childish,
goddamn nuisance,
self-absorbed, danger to society, prick.
He's a dildo.
He really might be the shittiest. If he is Trump. He's what everybody makes Trump to be. We obviously don't personally know Trump, but
it's true because it's this rich dude who only cares about himself and thinks that he can just become the most powerful person in the world.
Because he thinks he's the smartest person on the planet,
right?
And the best person. He thinks he's the best person.
This is another point I made too. Is he's a genius, a scientist, and inventor. He's not doing anything for the Stark Expo. He's not helping the scientists out he's not using his intellect for good just to make Iron Man suits. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Fuck Tony Stark.
But it's sort of, he at the same time makes it interesting to watch him in a movie.
You want to see the crash.
So, unlike a Captain America movie, there isn't just this one-dimensional thing going on, even though he is the greatest active character.
Yeah.
But as far as Tony goes, just the way they write his character, there's a lot of suspense in what you want to see happen to Tony.
Yeah.
What does his decisions affect the world and himself? So that's why I gave it the score I did.
Yeah, and so let's get what did you give it? I gave it a 7.5. It's number 6 for me.
And I gave it a 7.1, and it was number 8 on my list.
And there's when we talk about Iron Man,
Yeah.
you have to think that there's an order that he made his suits in, and it's not necessarily number order. It's an order of opinion.